Welcome to Let's Talk Sports, and in this video, I want to discuss something that I'm actually quite interested in doing, and that is my top 10 quarterbacks in the NFL. Now, when I make this list, it's going to be completely biased. It's going to be based off of my favorite team, my favorite players to watch, what they do that I like watching. So a lot of you guys may disagree, and that's completely fine. Like, there's no unbiased in this at all. It is completely biased. It's from what I see, it's from their accomplishments, what I like seeing them on the field, how they are for their team, how much their team values them, if they're gone. So this is purely based off of my opinion. And I want to talk about why I wanted to do it. Because there's players, like quarterbacks, obviously, that I like watching, but I also like rooting for players too. I'm a Chiefs fan, so I'm going to root for all 22 starters and the rest of the guys on that bench. I'm a Chiefs fan. I'm going to enjoy watching every second of their games, win, lose. I'm a Chiefs fan. So obviously, I have favorite players on my own team. Tyreek Hill, Travis Kelce, Tyrann Mathieu, Snead, which a lot of you guys may not even know who he is. Chris Jones when he's having a very good game, Willie Gay, Nick Bolton, like a lot of these guys that I like on my own team, but it's not just exclusive to my team. I'm going to root for them first. But I also like rooting for other players when I'm not watching Chiefs games. Take example Monday night on the Steelers and Bears game. The Bears got completely screwed and I was completely invested as I was rooting for the Bears. When you see that, you instantly root for the other team. But there was also things for the Steelers I was rooting for too. TJ Watt, I think he's fantastic. Mika Fitzpatrick, he made a very, very solid play hitting Justin Fields. But then I was also rooting for Justin Fields that, entire game because I want him to do well. So I have biases towards my own team, but I also root for other guys because it's not just limited to the Chiefs and those other teams. It's also, like I mentioned, TJ Watt, but like Gronk, I enjoy watching. There's a lot of quarterbacks that I'll get to, but there's guys that I root for, and that's why I wanted to make this video on my top 10 quarterbacks in the NFL. And if we start out, before we get into the actual list, I want to give a couple shout outs to a couple guys that I really like, and that's Derek Carr and Joe Burrow. They didn't quite make my list, but I thought they deserved a mention. Joe Burrow is slowly becoming a very good quarterback in the NFL. It really sucked to see him get injured. Last year when he was playing, he had no offensive line to protect him when he got hurt, and he was still making great plays. He got Jamar Chase this year. He has Higgins. He has Mixon. He has weapons now, and it's kind of showing. They are on a little bit of a slump as I'm talking about recording this, but I still think he's great. And then Derek Carr, purely for his leadership, and I think he has a great ball. I think he throws it well. He did have, like I said, this is recent, so that Giants game, he did struggle, but he's also had some great games this season. The Ravens game, the Steelers game, those were some good games by him. And his leadership alone, I think, is great. But let's get into the actual list, and we're coming in at number 10, and that's Dak Prescott. Dak Prescott, I'll be honest, because before I truly this year invested myself fully into every team, I was only a Chiefs fan, and then I would watch whatever game was on. So I didn't quite get to see Dak Prescott every week. I would see his stats. I'd see his numbers, him throwing for 400, 450 yards every game, throwing for 2 or 3 touchdowns, making, stat-wise, it was good. But I never truly saw him play. But this year just shows how important he is to his team. Because last year, he made some amazing comebacks. Again, he made an amazing comeback against the Falcons. He was so valuable in that. And then this year, boy, when he went down with that injury, this year is just showing how important he is to the Cowboys. His discipline, his leadership, just the ability to get in the playmakers' hands. Yeah, he struggled recently against the Broncos. That was one game. But as a season as a whole, through the first 9 weeks, I think Dak Prescott has played fantastic. His rookie year was great. So I think Dak is really proving that he is a valuable asset to the Cowboys. The next one at number 9 is Justin Herbert. I must admit, as a Chiefs fan, watching him come in last year and throw the ball all over him kind of sucked to watch. But now if I sit back and watch him as a fan, I really like him. He's so good. He has a great arm. He doesn't even have to use it that much because he has great discipline. He knows how to get the ball out of his hands. He finds the open receivers. He makes great plays. Like last year, he's improved throughout the year, and this year I think he's playing well. He had a couple bad games this year. He's a young quarterback. That's going to happen, and it even happens to the great guys. But like last year, a game that comes straight to mind is the Buccaneers game. Yes, they collapsed and lost that game, but they played fantastic in that game. He played really well. And then this year, he's played well. The Chiefs game, again this year, he played very well. And then most recently, the Eagles game, had an amazing, awesome game. And I think Justin Herbert, for how young he is, he holds himself well, he plays well, he's really fun to watch, and that's why I have him at number 9. At number 8 is Josh Allen. Now, this one's more purely based off of recent, because if we're doing this based off his rookie year, his second year, he wasn't very good. But his third year, when he got Stephon Diggs and he was hitting Cole Beasley, like when he finally was getting on stride with his receivers, getting good receivers on the team, he played well. If it wasn't for Aaron Rodgers last year, he would have won MVP more than likely. And I think he played well last year, and actually amazing last year. I don't know why I'm saying well. He played amazing last year. This year, he's been hit or miss, had a couple bad games this year. The Jags game, the Steelers game, slowly, and the Dolphins game, he did struggle a little bit, did lose to the Titans. I know I'm pointing out the negatives, but Josh Allen's arm talent, his mobility, his mobility is great. That Chiefs game, he just destroyed them. He's so good. If you give him a chance to exploit your mistakes, he will take it. That showed heavily in the Chiefs game. So I think Josh Allen, his arm talent, his mobility, he's basically a great modern quarterback, what you want. Somebody that can sling the ball well and also move around. And he's just fun. He's fun to watch sling the ball around all over the field. So that's why he's at number 8. Number 7 is Matthew Stafford. If he was still in Detroit right now, I'll be honest, I don't even know if I would have shouted him out. I really don't. But I think this year shows that he is way better than anybody ever gets him credit for, because when he played for the Lions, he was stuck at the 1 o'clock window playing the freaking Jacksonville Jaguars when literally only the local channels or the local markets would see that game, and then nobody would talk about it after the game ended because the Lions were so bad. But if you look back at his time with Calvin Johnson, he played fantastic. You look at his time in Detroit when, he gets hurt a lot. He is a tough dude. He got really injured on a one play, went back in it, still I think it was converted a 2-point conversion or scored the touchdown on that play. I can't exactly remember. But the fact he stayed in the game when he was so hurt, he's the epitome of a tough guy in the NFL. And just now, like you see him with the Rams, the relationship with him and Sean McVay is fantastic. Those two guys are hitting it off well. I think they're an amazing fit together. But, you look at the receivers that he has in Los Angeles, just the chemistry he has already with Cooper Kupp. I think the way, and the arm angles Matthew Stafford can throw the ball at, I find Matthew Stafford really fun to play, or really fun to watch when he's playing, because he can make almost any throw, or all the throws that you ask him to. Heck, he can even make a Carson Wentz-like throw. I'm kidding, I digress, but I'm just saying, he can make every throw you ask him for. He's really fun to watch, and so he is at number 7. Number 6 is Kyler Murray. I enjoy watching Kyler Murray play football. And his first couple of years wasn't necessarily the guy we would talk to. He made huge strides last year, I will say. He made massive strides in becoming a good quarterback. Now, last year, the reason why we talked to him about him so much was probably the Hail Murray play, and then he kind of slipped off and fell off at the second half of the season. He was injured for most of it, so you kind of have to give him the benefit of the doubt, because if you look at him this year, boy howdy, he looks so good. The plays that he's able to make with his legs, he's so quick with his legs. He can outmaneuver, outrun, juke, get out of the way of anybody that's coming after him. And his arm talent is fantastic. He can fit the ball wherever you need it. He can sling it beautifully. Like, his ball is so beautiful and so fun to watch. Just watching him roll out of the pocket and just evade everybody. It's so fun to watch Kyler Murray. And now that he has all those weapons, like him, his great passing abilities to get it to DeAndre Hopkins. Now he has Zach Ertz. Now he has talent around him to help him, show his true potential. Cliff Kingsbury is actually being a really good coach this year. And I just think Kyler Murray, he's genuinely fun to watch. And it's so entertaining. Just watch him scramble around, make off script plays, and he's so good. And that's why he's at number 6. And number 5, I have Russell Wilson. He is the Seahawks. If it wasn't for Russell Wilson, I'll be honest, I don't know if Pete Carroll still has a job. I don't think the Seahawks are relevant without Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson is the Seahawks. Now, he did, early on in his career, he did make it to 2 Super Bowls. You could argue that those were based off of a really good running game and of the best defense, one of the best defenses I've seen in my lifetime. I'm younger. I was only able to get into football fully about 10 years ago. So I'd say in my lifetime, one of the best defenses ever. But ever since that Legion of Boom finally split up, Russell Wilson has showed how valuable and great it is. His leadership, easily top 2 or 3 in the NFL. He rallies his troops. He gets them together. Even on a bad team, he rallies them together. His deep ball is so beautiful. Just that little rainbow teardrop or raindrop kind of throw that he makes. It's so beautiful. I will watch that. Like this year, he's made so many incredible throws to Tyler Lockett. And this shot just this year, look at his career, 2 Super Bowls, winning one of them, blowing out one of the best teams in football, the 2013 Broncos, getting to another one against the Patriots. Unfortunately, losing that one, but I really like Russell Wilson. I like his leadership. I love his ability on the field. Again, like Kyler Murray, he is getting a little bit older, so his ability to roll out of the pocket might be diminishing just a little bit, but his arm talent is fantastic, and he still has the ability to move when he has to. So when plays are breaking down and he has to get off script and everything else, he can still make plays. And so I have Russell Wilson at number 5. At number 4 is Lamar Jackson. I never understood the hype for the longest time. I really didn't. Maybe that was because, for the last few years, I've been looking through football through the eyes of only the Chiefs and everybody else was bad. But as I've watched him this year, and I've seen some more highlights from the past, man, Lamar Jackson's so fun. That's undeniable. Lamar Jackson is awesome to watch. First of all, he's a great running quarterback. I know there's jokes that he's RB1. I even make those jokes. I will probably still make those jokes after this. But his ability to run the ball is awesome. He seems to do it with little to no effort. His ability just to run the ball and make it look effortless, in my opinion, it's so fun to watch. And he's turning into a great throwing quarterback. He's had a couple games this year where stat-wise, he's put up big numbers throwing, and he's also shown that he can come back while he's at a deficit. Already alone this year, he's had 3 comebacks of 14 points. It may have been 14 points or double digits, but he's shown that he can come back now. And on top of that, he won an MVP a couple years ago. And some could argue right now he's playing better than his MVP season because right now without Lamar Jackson, it's kind of the same with the Seahawks. Without Russell Wilson right now, or without Lamar Jackson, the Ravens may not be anything. I'm being serious. He's having to carry guys from off the street. His defense isn't necessarily playing up to its standards as it has the past few years. But the way he's just able to lead that offense in a situation that's not ideal, still have a winning record, and still be playing at an elite level, I think it's safe to say Lamar Jackson, just from my list, is number 4. Number 3, and you guys are lucky I didn't put him number 1, is Patrick Mahomes. Now, when I made the top 3, I did do it with in mind the careers of the 2 ahead of him. I'll be honest. Because if we just look at their careers in a bunch right now, I would probably still love to put Mahomes number 1. Or not their careers as a whole, just, talent-wise, I guess, as a whole, and my biased opinion as a whole, he'd be number 1. But I put him at number 3 because the 2 guys ahead of him, careers are, their careers up to this point are still better than Mahomes because Mahomes is still young, even though Mahomes, you could argue, has had a Hall of Fame level career already. But I think it's pretty obvious why people like Mahomes. His arm talent, second to none. His excitement level when playing football, amazing. His ability to get off script plays, one of the best in football. Come on. When a play breaks down and he's able just to roll out make 5 or 6 guys miss and then launch a ball 70 yards down the field and still score a touchdown. Like, come on. You can't tell me that's not fun to watch. I know he's struggling right now. But in his first 3 years of starting in the NFL, AFC Championship, a pre-snap penalty away from going to a Super Bowl. And he won the MVP that year. His second year, unfortunately got injured, had another very, very good season when he was healthy. 26 touchdowns, I think less than 10 interceptions, I'm pretty sure that year. Led him to the Super Bowl. Won Super Bowl MVP. His third year, went to another Super Bowl. Unfortunately struggled in that game because he didn't have an offensive line. But it's just, what is there? 3 years starting, AFC Championship game, and 2 Super Bowl appearances. And just his on-field ability, it's Mahomes. What else do I have to say when I'm saying Mahomes? His on-field ability is awesome. It's fun. He makes backyard football look amazing. Like, he's just so good at it. And I don't even know what else to say about him. It's Mahomes. Like, you say that name and everybody just knows, oh yeah, Mahomes. We know what he can do. From the way he throws the ball, like his sidearmed passes, the ability to throw it from literally any angle, to roll to the opposite side that he throws from and still turn his body and throw, to be able to do that while he's on the run and still throw the ball 50 yards down the field. Like it's Mahomes. I don't know what else to say. Mahomes. And at number 2, I have Aaron Rodgers. I love Aaron Rodgers. You may not like his off-field antics. That's fine. That's another conversation for another day. But his on-field talent is amazing. And for me recently, because I'm younger, I was only able to really, understand the game maybe 5-6 years ago fully to my fullest extent. But recently with Devante Adams, just his ability to get chemistry with his receivers. Like, when I see that, like, there's plays last year where all he had to do was look at Devante Adams and sling the ball to him. And I'm like, that's fantastic. He's a great quarterback. His ability to throw the ball, like, he's also the one that his mechanics, if you look at it, are awful. But the way he's able to make every throw, it doesn't matter. He can be he can be jumping straight up in the air, make the throw. He can, have one knee on the ground, make the throw. Like, his arm talent, his ability to make throws is fantastic. It's fun. And also, like, you may not like his antics, you may not like his personality, but the way he can lead his guys on the field, I think is great. And it shows whenever they're down and all they need to do is score and get down the field and score. And he only has, a minute left to do it. Look at the Sunday Night Football game this year against the 49ers. The 49ers score. There was 38 seconds left in that game. He led the team down the field, scored the game winning, and they got the team in field goal range and they scored the game winning field goal. And we were all like, well, this game's over. At least I did. I saw on Twitter instantly, they were like, you have too much time for Rodgers. And I'm like, this game's over. There's 38 seconds left. Nope, 2 fantastic throws to Devante Adams, and he's in field goal range. And I'm just like, okay, never mind. I was wrong. Too much time for Rodgers. And now anytime they leave time for Rodgers, I'm just like, too much time for Rodgers. And that's my fault. That's completely my fault, because I should have seen the amount of times that he effortlessly just leads his team on a 2-minute drill and gets his team in range to win the game. So that's completely on me. That's my fault. Aaron Rodgers is so good in the 2-minute drill. But if we're talking 2-minute drill, we have to talk the best quarterback when it comes to the 2-minute drill. And that is, at number 1, Tom Brady. I'm going to get so much crap for this one. I really know it. If enough people see this, I already know what's going to happen. But hear me out. Even as a Chiefs fan who's had to deal with him for years, who got excited when the Chiefs benched him on Monday Night Football, to when the Chiefs destroyed the Buccaneers. Well, it didn't really destroy the Buccaneers, but had that fantastic game against the Buccaneers last year. Just the amount of times that the Chiefs in the regular season have played well against Tom Brady. I think it's safe to say, at least for me, his abilities are undeniable. I really, really do. I've made it a mission of mine this year to just appreciate Tom Brady and what he brings to this sport. And I'll be honest, what turned me to liking Tom Brady, first of all, was him leaving New England. because he was a robot in New England. Then he moves to Tampa Bay. His personality finally shows, and he turns out to be one of the nicest and funniest guys you'll ever meet. And then he goes on the Manning cast and just has an amazing interview with the Manning brothers. So just those factors alone really turned me into really, really liking Tom Brady personally. But on the field, it's undeniable. He's won 7 Super Bowls, won 4 Super Bowl MVPs, won regular season MVPs, leaves New England after 20 years, wins the Super Bowl in his first year in Tampa Bay. And I know everybody's like, well, he had weapons all those years and his defense carried him. And I'm like, you look at Tom Brady in New England, and then you look at Tom Brady in Tampa Bay. What is the one consistent thing? It's Tom. It's Tom Brady. He's just so good. He makes everybody better around him. His last year in New England, he had nobody, still led him to a 12-4 record and got him into the playoffs. Yeah, he got beat in the first round against the Tennessee Titans, threw an pick 6 to end that game as his last ever throw as a New England Patriot. But to come to a situation like he did in Tampa Bay, no offseason, basically the first time he played with those guys was in week 1. He struggled again, and for the first 12 weeks last year, got his guys to rally, went on the road 3 straight weeks to host the Super Bowl in his home city. Like, I don't know what else there is. I don't know why I'm still denying Tom Brady. I don't know why, and that's my fault. I really like Tom Brady. I'm really enjoying what he's done the last few years. I truly, truly am. Just his talent, and that's when I brought up the 2-minute drill. You say there's too much time for Rodgers. You leave too much time for Tom Brady, you're going to regret it. Honestly, the best way to know that you've won a game against Tom Brady is when you score the clock hits 0. And even when it does that, I still feel like he has a chance to somehow win the game. But yeah, Tom Brady, I've thoroughly enjoyed Tom Brady this year. I know a lot of people don't like him. His scandals, antics, all that. But whatever, it is what it is in my opinion. The on-field product that he gives to the NFL, he checks down too much, he's carried by a defense. I don't think that's a fair assessment, because to be a great quarterback and just to be a great team, a lot of things have to align perfectly. Yeah, Tom Brady has probably had that more times than anybody, but his ability to make plays when the team really needs it, make that one pass that a team really needs it. At 44 years old right now, making his ball looks even better now than it ever did in New England. Like, the dude is literally aging in reverse. I think he's playing better now than he did in his 20s, better than he did in his 30s. He's the first guy to throw for 600 touchdown passes. And so I'm done denying it. Obviously, this list is mine. It's completely biased. I'm surprised myself that I put Tom Brady number 1. But that's my list and the reasons why I have each quarterback where they are. Let me know down below what you think what your top 10 is. You can do it however you want. I really don't care. You can be biased, you can be unbiased, you can do it based, and keep in mind these are current quarterbacks in the NFL. But that's my list of my top 10 quarterbacks in the NFL. Thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you guys for listening. Give me your thoughts down below, and I will see you in the next one.